there it is. My first night. I don't know how well y'all can see it. I'm shocked I even spotted it. There is a lepidus sitting at the base of this, I believe, yucca. You know, I'm gonna see if I can get him out without getting bitten and, you know, get a better look at him because he's kind of tucked up in this stuff. But that's a mottled rock rattlesnake. My first one ever. Alrighty, well here it is. This is the main reason I came down to West Texas. This is the mottled rock rattlesnake. This is Crotalus lepidus. This is one of the smallest rattlesnake species that we get in the entire country. And I say the entire country, this is mostly a Mexican species of snake. A very large portion of their range will go down into Mexico, just south of us here. But portions of their range does extend up into the United States where we are now, which is mostly going to be in West Texas and New Mexico. You'll notice this snake is rattling. The rattle is nowhere near as loud as something like one of our larger rattlesnakes, like a Western Diamondback, that you'd also be finding out here. They're a very small species. They don't get a whole lot larger than what you see here. They love this rocky desert habitat that we have here in the Chihuahuan Desert where we're at. This is a big reason that they have the name the rock rattlesnake. This is one of those dream snakes for me. I've wanted to see one of these since I was a very, very little kid. This is one of the first rattlesnakes that I saw in the green-backed National Audubon Society Reptiles and Amphibians of North America field guide that really helped facilitate my passion and love for herpetology when I was a really little kid. So this is just a wonderful full circle moment, and I can't believe I finally made it happen after all these years. This is really, really, really cool, and I'm very, very thankful. So I'm not gonna keep this guy. A lot of people that catch snakes in West Texas collect pretty much everything they find. I'm just gonna go ahead and release him back where I found him, and that'll be that. But what a way to start the trip off. I told myself if I find nothing else other than one mottled rock rattlesnake, then I will be happy, even if I find nothing else. And here we are at the very beginning, finding just that. So I guess I can relax and know that I'll have a satisfied trip one way or another after this snake. So amazing. Well, let's let him go and keep looking and see what we find. Okay, I see my first snake of the night. I think it, oh my God. Let's get closer and see. I think it's a Chihuahuan Night Snake. It's a, oh my God. It's a Chihuahuan Night Snake, dude. What the f? Oh my God. Dude, I've wanted to see one of these snakes, I don't know, since I was 10 or something like that. And I've been within range of them several times in the past, and I've looked for them then. I have to get used to that. This is the first time I've ever seen one. And I knew there were a lot of them on this cut, but oh my God. Okay, I gotta just sit here and enjoy this. What the hell, dude? So apparently there's Mediterranean house gecko. Whoa! House geckos out in the middle of rural West Texas in natural habitats. I say natural habitat like, you know, a rock cut isn't human disturbed, but you get what I mean. It's not in the city or anything. And these are out here? That's crazy. Okay, I almost stepped on the damn thing, but there's a pictogaster right here. Oh, ooh, okay. Here, I don't want him to get away. Here. Whew. Well, here it is. This is my first Trans-Pecos Copperhead. The Trans-Pecos Copperhead, their Latin name is Echistrodon contortrix pictogaster. So whenever I say pictogaster, that's what I'm referring to. So Trans-Pecos Copperheads are not taxonomically recognized anymore. They used to be a subspecies of the Echistrodon contortrix species Copperhead, which is once again now split up into two species, no subspecies. You have the Eastern Copperhead, which includes the what used to be recognized as Northern Copperhead, the Southern Copperhead, as well as the Osage Copperhead. None of those subspecies are recognized anymore either. It's just the Eastern Copperhead, Echistrodon contortrix. Now, these guys are now considered one species. They took the what used to be recognized as Trans-Pecos Copperhead, the pictogaster like we were talking about, and the Laticinctus, so the broad-banded Copperhead. They took those two subspecies, put them together, and then they decided to label the species as a broad-banded Copperhead, Echistrodon laticinctus. The work that was done to make that decision was done by Frank Burbank and his team of phylogeneticists, which, you know, a lot of people disagree with, but it is what it is. What I'll use this guy to demonstrate is how, you know, try not to get too wrapped up in the taxonomy of an animal and whether that influences your ability to appreciate them, I guess you could say. At the end of the day, the snakes are what they are. They're always going to look the same unless some gigantic change gets made to their habitat. But But we are the ones that decide to name them, and you know, how we are classifying these guys taxonomically is being done using the phenotypical model or the, in this case, phylogenetic model. The animals themselves are not going to change regardless of how we decide to taxonomically recognize them. So just appreciate them as a beautiful animal, because that's what they are, at least to me, and it should be just fine. So, woo, motorcycle. All right, beautiful snake. Definitely one that I wanted to find. Very happy to have gotten this guy off the list on only night 2. So let's put him back and keep seeing what we can see. Hopefully an alterna shows up soon. All right, little dude, I'm gonna go ahead and release you back where I found you. You ready? There we go. All right, beautiful. I'm glad to sink this baby. Maybe we'll get an alterna next, or a subocularis. We'll see. Gosh, what a second night. From that point forward, all I found was this shed skin that appeared to be from a coach whip or some other snake in the Masticophis genus. Even though I needed to get sleep somewhere, I didn't want to completely neglect daytime herping on this trip. So since the conditions felt good for it, I tried flipping some natural cover the next day, but unfortunately it was to no avail. Well, you win some, you lose some. And before I knew it, it was time to begin my 3rd night of shining cuts in West Texas. Alright, we've got our first snake of the night, and it is, you know what, here, I'm gonna put this on my head, and we're gonna climb. It's another Chihuahuan Night Snake. Hey there, buddy. How are you doing? I'll just say hello for a little bit, since we've already seen one of these, and we'll keep going. It's raining a little bit right now, which, you know, I'm not, like, too crazy about, but, you know, the snakes do not seem to mind. You can see this is a Chihuahuan Night Snake. You know what? This actually appears to be gravid, so I'm gonna go ahead and let her go. A beautiful Chihuahuan Night Snake. It's my 2nd individual I've ever seen in my entire life. Beautiful. All right, let's let her go. So, you know, I'm walking, shining this cut, and I ran into this mat. For more satirical value, flipped to this. I didn't expect there to actually be a herp under this, but turns out there actually is. This has, yep, got him. This has a whiptail, dude. What the heck? I believe they'd be spotted whiptails out here, I think. But like, that's cool, dude. No, I don't get anything in this genus, hardly ever. These are actually distantly related to tegus, and you know, you can kind of see that in their facial morphology. It's a very beautiful lizard, but you know, I just wanted to show y'all, because like, you know, I didn't actually expect there to be anything under that, but there was. Very cool. All right, I'm gonna let him go and keep going. Okay, this is not what I was expecting to find out here. We have a coral snake. Look at that. Yeah, check that out. That is a Texas coral snake. Hold on. That's nuts. Okay, yeah, we have a... Yeah, there we go. Macurus tenor. Crazy that this snake... Well, you know, it's not crazy that it's moving. We've, you know, been getting a lot of rain today and throughout the night until honestly recently. So I mean, that's typically what gets these more fossorial species out, is the rain that flushes them out of their subterranean living spaces. This is my first West Texas coral snake, which, you know, I don't really, if I'm thinking about it, I don't really know many other people that document these in West Texas. When I'm watching other people's West Texas videos, typically a Texas coral snake is not a species that shows up too terribly often. Yeah, now y'all can see them a little bit better. Check that out. Oop. There we go. That's a little better. Look at that. These snakes are very awkward on the surface. Very cool. All right, not a snake that I was expecting to see tonight, or really just on this trip at all. These don't seem to be terribly common out where I'm at right now. Very nice. Let's keep going and see what else we can find. Okay, this is just ridiculous. It's not a snake, but you know, look at where we're at, right? Like, this is the bottom. Let's follow the wall up. And who do we have here? This is a Gulf Coast toad. I can't. He is crawling up a completely vertical block. He's like, look at him. Look at him go. He's a fucking beast, dude. Like, look. I'm sorry. Like, this is literally one of the funniest things that I have seen in my entire... Look at him. Look at him go. Dude. I can't. I have to take a breather after that, because why? Like, why is he wanting to go? I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like more of the bugs would be down here and not, but I'm not a toad at the end of the day, so crazy. Not a snake, but like, that is exceptional. I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. All right, it is wet enough and still raining hard enough that I've basically resorted to amphibians at this point, and I think this is a Couch's spadefoot right here. Is that not what that is? I mean, I know there are Couch's spadefoots out here. This is a younger one, and it's not as vibrant as an adult Couch's spadefoot, but I think it still is one. I'll have to double check. It's definitely a spadefoot, but I believe it's a Couch's, which is a new species for me, so very cool. I'm gonna get him out of the road and maybe we can get an adult. Man, look at that. I'm having a little bit of Kansas nostalgia here. This is a red spotted toad. Super common out here, I would assume, in the proper conditions, at least as far as their surface activity goes. I'm gonna go ahead and help them off the road. I don't wanna stay here for too long and keep going. I'm hoping maybe I might get a green toad. That would be, oh, here it comes. Hoping I might get a green toad, dude. That would be so cool. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and let him go and keep going. Okay, look at this thing. Dude, look at this spadefoot. If this isn't a Couch's, I don't know what is. I mean, like I said, I haven't spent much time looking in a field guide about Anurans before coming here, and I think this is a Couch's spadefoot, man. Look at how vibrant this one is, man. That's why I think this is a Couch's and not some other Mexican species, and there he goes. Beautiful. Well, let's keep going. Okay, so crazily enough, I actually found tin to flip out here. Conditions aren't bad for flipping, so I mean, shoot, I'm gonna stop and see what I can do. Despite my efforts, the cover objects that I flipped unfortunately did not produce any snakes. But since this property was abandoned, I did go ahead and salvage some of this cover for future herpetological projects. For my final night of shining cuts, I decided to move further east of where I was staying. When I arrived, I wasted no time getting started with what would soon become one of the most notable nights of herping that I have had in a very, very long time.
Oh my god! Okay.
Well, this is kind of funny. We're starting our final night, and it's not a snake, but there is a red spotted toad just hopping around. Oh, well, where'd he go? He was literally right there 2 seconds ago, and now he's gone. First time out in West Texas, right? But I have a feeling that amphibians being in the cuts that I'm trying to shine snakes in is probably not the best sign, but we're gonna keep going and see what we can do. There's a lizard right here. I don't know what is this? What species of lizard is this? Oh, what is that? Is that an earless lizard of some kind? I don't know what species of lizard this is, but you know, hey, it's a reptile. That's not a bad sign. I think this is an earless lizard of some kind. I'll do my research and pop up a proper ID. Very neat. Let's keep going. Okay, we got our first snake that I think is probably out trying to eat these lizards. This seems to be a common theme that the night snakes are usually some of the first ones to come out. At least it seems like that from my little visit here. But yeah, there's this Chihuahuan Night Snake sitting back in there. I'm not really gonna try and get him out or anything. I've already seen a decent bit of these, so I'm just gonna leave him back there, but still cool regardless. Y'all can see him back in this little crevice here. Third one of the trip. Hopefully not the only snake I see tonight. There he goes. So that appears to be the tail of a crevice spiny lizard. Like I said, I'm not gonna mess with him. He's deep in there, and I'm mostly focused on snakes. Unless it's a different spiny lizard species out here that I haven't researched recently, then that appears to be a crevice spiny lizard tail. Cool. All right, let's keep going. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god! It actually happened. Oh my god. Okay, I'm not even filming this right now. Okay. I'm gonna like get some video of this and then just, enjoy this. Y'all see that? Oh my god, this is what everybody comes out here to see. I'm gonna be honest, I'm more of a croat person. I mostly came out here for rattlesnakes, but this is still a snake that I really, really wanted to see. And after finding the lepidus the other night, these and subocularis, the Trans-Pecos rat snake, quickly became my new target for the trip. And here it is. This is Lampropeltis alterna, the one that, like I said, most of everybody that's a herper and comes out here to find snakes, this is the main one that they're looking for. There's a couple different phases of these. This is the Blair's phase. The Blair's phase, you'll see there's actually some orange between the gray. Okay, look at that, he's chewing on me. Oh yeah. Thanks, buddy, I appreciate that. But the Blair's phase, right, they have orange going between the black bands. Now, there is also an alterna phase that are different subspecies. The other phase of these being almost completely gray. This would be Lampropeltis alterna blairii. Regardless, though, I don't want to get too deep into the taxonomic side of these snakes. This is just overall an absolutely beautiful snake. There's also other variants of these guys that occur on a locality basis, different phenotypes, and I was mostly hoping to get this one, so that is just amazing. Gray banded kingsnake, Lampropeltis alterna. I mean, I did it, dude. What the heck? Like I said, not the main species I was coming out here to see, but I knew, you know, there was a chance, and I definitely had it in the back of my head. Amazing. All right, let's keep going. Oh, we got another target, baby. We got another target. Here it is. Oh, hey, buddy. It's a long-nosed snake. I got a long-nose. Dude, oh my God. This trip just keeps getting better. Holy crap. Look at that. I'm just knocking them off at this point, dude. A little awkward on the surface. This is mostly a fossorial species. I'll talk more about it in a second, but so glad I got one of these. I was really hoping I would. Alrighty, well, here we go. This is a long-nosed snake. This is a species that I've searched on and off for a pretty long time. I've been within range of these snakes a decent amount of times in the past, and I've never really seemed to be able to find one. They're a lot more fossorial than other snakes that live out in the western United States that I have successfully found. I could be off with this, but they appear at least to be a western counterpart of Samophora, so the scarlet snakes back in the eastern United States. That's just me going off my own intuition. I'd have to look at a phylogeny of these guys and how their ancestral relationship to the Samophora genus lines up, but they do have very similar habits and a very similar natural history to Samophora. They're, like I said, very fossorial. You can see with that very pointed snout right there. They're mostly going to be eating things like lizards, and they also do have a very similar coloration with that tri-colored look to them. Now, Samophora are going to have a much more vibrant tri-colored look to them than these guys are. At least on average, sometimes you will get much more vibrant long-nosed snakes, unlike this individual. This one's a little bit more dull. I did find a dead long-nosed snake at the very beginning of this trip. I'll pop a picture of it up on the screen right now that you can see that is much, much more vibrant than this particular individual is. But absolutely beautiful Texas long-nosed snake. I'm so thrilled that I've finally been able to get one of these. What a beautiful place here in the Chihuahuan Desert to find one in West Texas. So I'm gonna go ahead and let him go, and we'll keep looking for snakes. Got another one of these guys. This is once again a whiptail of some type. I think it's a striped whiptail. I'll have to look up the species. Could be a spotted. I'm honestly not 100% sure, but once again, you know, underneath just this board that's on the side of the highway. Very cool. Enjoy your roadside board. Cool, let's keep looking for snakes. Ever since I was a young boy first discovering herpetology, the Chihuahuan Desert and the herpetofauna associated with it has been a point of encapsulation for me, and I've always known one day I'd want to see it all for myself. This first trip to West Texas took my expectations and absolutely shattered them. That being said, there are still a few keystone herp species that call this part of the country home that I did not see on this trip, giving me all the more reason to return one day, hopefully very soon. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I'll see y'all on the next one.